Hi, my name is Valkyrie, and today I turn 18 years old. Actually, yesterday, I turned 18. I'm currently riding this on a plane to Boston for a girls' trip with friends from an MIT program I took over the summer. After that, I head to a house in Manhattan with my best friend Jessie to work on our own engineering project, Project Firefly. We live with 10 other people, all doing very similar things on the 4th floor. I'll be there for a month and a half, and after that, I have no clue what I'm gonna do. I'm sitting here and realize that I didn't do an update for myself yesterday, so I'll just do one right now. Yesterday, when I was driving down the freeway to meet some friends, I felt the happiest I'd ever felt. I had Silk Sonic playing, singing along to Fly As Me, and I just started laughing and smiling and slapping the steering wheel, and I was just so overjoyed, so full of energy and just pure happiness. I've been happy the last few months, happier than I've ever been, but yesterday was something special. This morning, my dad came back to wake me up before he went to sleep, and he hugged me and I half hugged back, still wrapped in blankets. He said, "I know you haven't said you're moving out. You're not getting kicked out. You can come back and stay, but I think you'll be visiting from now on. I don't think you're coming back to live here." I honestly didn't truly register that. Sure, I was telling people I was basically moving out at 18, but once it became real to my dad, it was real to me. All I could kind of say was just an acknowledging in response. I am extremely proud of you, Valkyrie. This whole New York thing scares me, but it also excites me. And honestly, me too. I was talking to a friend the other day, and it made me realize how scared I was, but also how thrilling the idea of living with 11 other kids in New York would be. I'm so incredibly thankful to have the opportunity to do so, but I'd be lying if there wasn't a part of me that was just constantly doubting myself. I think that exists in all of us. I don't know a single other person in our family that went up this route. Up until a year ago, I didn't even think this route was possible, let alone even really existed. Now I feel like I'm working from the ground up, and I know I have people to guide me, but a lot of it is dependent on me. Every song I listen to, every thought, it's all surrounding New York. I know I'm romanticizing this idea of the Big Apple, and I'm trying not to blow it up too much, but I just have a gut feeling that I'll have such an amazing time and truly love it. I've been twice before, and both times were some of the most enlightening experiences of my life. I set 2 guiding words for myself at the beginning of this year: mindfulness and connection. I want to prioritize the people in my life and keep up with more relationships and learn from that and grow. Up until this point, most of my growth has been internal, and that's been a necessary step in finding my purpose. But I need to open myself up to new people, new ideas, new experiences. I'm getting better, and I will continue to get better. The purpose of that was to increase my awareness surrounding my reflections. I'm not a big fan of resolutions, but having 2 broad things to focus on and plugging them into whatever I end up doing seems way more feasible. Okay, now pause. From the start of this video, I've been reading excerpts from an article that I wrote half a year ago. I'm back in New York, and I feel very different from how I first started when I turned 18. The feeling of being 18 is almost settled into this mellow frame of consciousness, like I'm cruising by year 18 without even acknowledging its existence. At the beginning of this year, I was completely smitten with the idea of living in New York and building a company and finding who I was. I wanted to work on mindfulness and connection and continue to blossom into the person I had always wanted to become. And in that article, I expressed words of gratitude for my mom and family and friends and set forth on my new life. It's one of my proudest pieces of writing and also my most sentimental. But as I sit here speaking to you, I can definitively say I am different than the Valkyrie that wrote that article. I have different dreams and aspirations. I have a newfound love for Korean tofu stew, and I want to build something not only because it will help people, but because it will help me. Here's what I've been thinking about recently. Being in New York puts me in some kind of trance. I love the busyness, the bustling nature of the city, everyone crowded into one tiny space for the same goal of making it. It's exciting, it's captivating. While I'm only visiting, I do want to live here again. I felt happiest when I was in the thick of it in New York, Upper East Side with my other roommates and all the wackiness that comes with a startup space, and I've wanted to come back to New York ever since I left it. But it got me thinking about who I was back when I first stepped foot in New York this year as a fresh-faced 18-year-old adult. I read that article and get an overwhelming sense of optimism. I feel the tenderness in my heart, that yearning to get out into the world, the need to see and feel and touch everything in sight and write it all down and put it out and do it all over again. I see it, and honestly, I miss it. I miss the feeling of seeing everything and wanting to film it. I miss the thoughts of ideas that would pop into my head and ways in which I could make little short films and write. Nowadays, those ideas seem to come by less and less. I'm just realizing I sound like such a boomer. But a few months ago, I made that realization as well. I had a small breakdown about how I don't want to lose that child in me, how I don't want to get lost in the sauce of being an adult or being out in the real world so much that I lose my ability to see the world in different colors. I've been working for about 2 years pretty consistently now, and the rate at which my dreams and stories and fantasies have all diminished was shocking and concerning to me. I'm only now starting to fuel them again and leave room for them to grow, but I fear I've lost too much. And maybe this is me sounding dramatic, but it's a huge part of my life. I've always grown up being able to dream, being able to live like a child, and I want to produce things that are fun things for me, not be in the thick of work all the time. And this video is my promise to do so. I read that article and also sensed someone who's scared. I had a conversation with a friend in which I did nothing to help, and that wasn't necessarily my fault, but it was just the mere fact that I didn't help that bothered me. That's when I started to shut down a lot of my thoughts simply because they couldn't do the most. Why bother if it won't produce 100%? Why care if they don't truly see it as a grand gesture? Why bother if love is fleeting? I couldn't help everyone, so I wanted to help a select few, which tanked my creative and caring brain. It wasn't until I met my current boyfriend that I started to find that love again. I was constantly doubting myself and whether I was worth any value, and that reflected in how I thought about people, how I treated myself, how I genuinely felt about others, and I hate that. I hate that one little event had so much power over my shift in judgment. I've recently reflected on that point and have changed how I view my mission in life. I may not be able to help everyone, but god damn it, am I going to try. There's no use in shutting down a part of myself that wants everyone to be happy just because I know it isn't humanly possible. That doesn't help me find ways I can better someone's life. That doesn't help me try to find the positive light in things. That just shuts down individuals in my life who I truly value and clouds my vision. There's no use in telling myself I can't help everyone when I so desperately want to. And there's pros and cons to that, obviously. But I will take the cons if it means I get to keep this vision that I have for the world. The vision of a bright future. The vision of a true modern-day victory for mankind. The vision that I can become someone that people look to for advice, for comfort, for love. So yes, I'm feeling quite emotional nowadays. I got sick on and off for a month, and work hasn't been the best purely because I wasn't passionate about it. And now I'm nearing the end of an internship, the start of a full-time job with my startup, and a new start. Halfway through the year, might I add, but beggars can't be choosers. I wanted to just end off this video by saying that I'm still working on mindfulness and connection, and this YouTube channel is a way for me to do that in front of a public eye as well as in private. I'm more confident in my abilities now than ever, and for everyone this year that's helped me, I am and will continue to be forever grateful. This will be a place for my thoughts, my adventures, and soon a very public diary about what it's like living in a tiny town in Maine to build Project Firefly. So stay tuned. And with that being said, I am Little Bird, and this is me signing off.